Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. VA officials are acknowledging the need for privacy when it comes to telehealth therapy and who knows what else. Now, I think that this is important because we as veterans need to know that what we are saying has some protections around it, right? When we're having these conversations. So let's jump into it here. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Every thumbs up, every minute watched really does help to spread the word. And it really takes all of us, not just me. We are, collectively passing the baton, if you will. All right, so let's jump into it. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs appears to be backing off a plan to send telehealth therapists back to offices that may lack privacy, according to a memo that was obtained by NPR. Now, look, if you watched prior videos, you know that there was this big pull to pull everyone back into the office, and that included therapists, which sounds like a great idea unless there's no real space. Look, I don't work at the VA. I don't know if there's a bunch of empty rooms. I'm not there. So according to the therapists, at least those that have been public about it, there really wasn't adequate privacy space. So in any case, let's move on here because now it looks like the VA may be making a U-turn. So again, addressing widespread concerns over mental health clinicians' ability to conduct confidential sessions, officials from the VA have issued a memo saying that providers must have private workspaces that foster trusted, confidential, and therapeutic relationships with veterans when they return to their offices in the coming weeks. All right, well, that's some big words. So let's see if they're able to do it. The memo is dated April 12th, 2025 and was issued to regional directors the day after NPR's latest reporting on this issue, which followed other reports and outcry from lawmakers. After speaking with mental health providers and clinicians all over the country anonymously, as many fear for their jobs, they previously reported that many are afraid they will be unable. Now I missed my spot here. Unable to provide, that they'll be unable to provide therapy in private spaces after the mandatory return to work order that requires them to report to a VA facility. Many are currently providing telehealth to veterans from home. The return to office order comes after much concentration over an announcement from VA officials and VA Secretary Doug Collins that the agency intends to cut 80,000 jobs. Under President Biden, Congress passed the PACT Act, which allocated nearly $800 billion to expand VA care and benefits. The current effort aims to reduce staffing numbers to levels before this legislation, though it is not clear how the VA would do so and still fulfill its legal requirements under the PACT Act. A script about confidentiality. Prior to the April 12th memo, VA management in one region circulated a script for therapists working in a call center-like environment to read to their patients. I cannot guarantee complete confidentiality, read the document. Confidentiality is guaranteed to healthcare patients through federal law, and the quality of a patient's bond with a provider is one of the key predictors of overall outcomes in clinical therapy. The April 12th memo stipulates that spaces used to deliver this type of telehealth service should offer the same level of privacy and therapeutic environment applicable to an in-person visit in the same space. Confusion still remains is the next section here. It says several clinicians who spoke to NPR about this memo remained perplexed. The memo does not explicitly say therapists would be allowed to continue working from their homes if private office space is unavailable, but the clinicians said they do not see how they would meet both the privacy requirements and return to work, where many say there is simply not enough space for things like parking and bathroom traffic, let alone adequate private spaces for therapy. Many staff were hired to be telehealth providers working off-site for all or part of the time. Now, again, I don't work at the VA. I don't know how much space is available in any given VISN or hospital or clinic out there. I don't know. But I do know that if you eliminated 80,000 people, with the majority of them probably having some sort of a space somewhere, you would think that there would be some. But I don't really know. So let's move on. Another document viewed by NPR, which was labeled pre-decisional, implies clinicians who provide mental health care would be eligible for an exemption to the mandatory return to work if it offered few details, however. The VA did not respond to a request to comment on what the April 12th memo would mean for employees reporting to an overcrowded facility. For earlier stories, VA spokesperson Peter K., because I can't say his last name, is the press guy for the VA, has repeatedly said that veterans' care will continue uninterrupted through the return to work mandate, and insisted that all facilities will be compliant with federal privacy laws. VA will make accommodations as needed so employees have enough space to work, read the previous statement on the issue. Some VA employees were required to return to the office on April 14th, though others received last-minute changes. May 5th is the current date forecasted by VA to have employees back in person as part of the department-wide mandate under the Trump administration and VA Secretary Collins. Moving on here, it says a reputation for high-quality care. The American Psychological Association has expressed concern for VA therapists who are unable to comply with federal privacy standards. That's just such a fundamental way that psychological services and psychotherapy have been conducted, says Lynn Bufka, head of practice for APA. I think most people feel sort of like, why would we even need to say that so explicitly? The VA is seen by many providers as the gold standard for mental health care in the United States, and many are, I'm trying to look for a quote here. I don't really see a quote, so I guess this is the writer saying this. Love to get your opinions on that. I don't know. So it says the VA is seen by many providers as the gold standard of mental health care in the United States, and many are concerned that the return to work order and job cuts will lead to attrition from providers or overall degradation of care for veterans. From a psychologist's point of view, it's seen as a place of good training and effort to really ensure that care is quality, says Bufka. Care that is evidence-based, that it is really meeting the needs of the population, that was willing to give it everything in order for the rest of us to have the kind of quality of life that we have. With that concludes it. Wanted to bring it to your attention, let you know what's going on here. I'd love to get your thoughts. Please throw them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate you very much. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.